Okay, this one is a really important topic. And I called it Address Emotional Needs and Questions Upfront. Um, this relates to the other principle I'm going to introduce called the UX, but let me just kind of lay out, some analogy. So imagine, you're going to, um, let's see, the example that I used was China. Okay, let's say you have this fantasy, this dream about China. You've seen some beautiful pictures about the beautiful landscape of China, some of the amazing food, culture, people, and you are so excited to go on this trip. It's a 20-day tour to China. And you're just super excited. So you go, and there's a tour guide. And the tour guide is very straightforward, but very just dry is kind of the word that I can come up with. So day one is your first day, meeting with the guide, and the guy says, okay, today we're in Shanghai. This is what you're going to do. And that's it. How would you feel? Or let's say the guy says, okay, this is what I need you to do. We're gonna visit, Shanghai, and we're gonna go to this place, and then this place, and this place, and this place. Do you think you will be like excited? I mean, wouldn't you have some questions? If it was me, I'd be like, okay, why are we doing that? Why are we going Shanghai in the first place? Hey, what are we gonna do in that 20 days? You never told me what you're gonna do in these 20-day tour. Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do this? Like, like why? Why? I mean, tell us more, right? That's the dry guide. Yet a lot of courses sometimes look exactly like that. Oh, let me teach you about PHP. Oh, let me teach you about Objective-C. First, let me teach you this concept. Second, let me teach you this concept. Third, let me teach you this concept. Now do this assignment. Okay, here's another concept. Now do this assignment. And the students are like, why? Why am I doing this? Why are you teaching it in this order? Or what am I going to learn next day? I mean, how is the course structured? Right? Compare that with, imagine, let's say you don't know anything about iOS development, and this is how the guide works. Let's say I'm your guide, and say, hey, okay, so I know you're excited. You may know already a lot of this, but let me tell you why iOS is beautiful. It's a beautiful language. Here's a history. This is what makes this language so unique and so powerful. This is also what it means to your career and your portfolio. So you should be very excited. Now, before I have you go through the course, let me tell you why I structured the course the way that I did. So first, we're going to spend some time where you're going to learn about the language. Okay, we're going to have you learn Swift first. And then we're going to, learn about Objective-C. And the reason I do it that way is because of X, Y, and Z. We're going to spend a few days. And then we're going to learn this. And then we're going to learn that. And then we're going to learn this. Okay, I'm intentionally not going to cover these and these and these, and you may learn all of these other things, but I'm not going to cover it because those are what I consider nice to knows. Once you really master the fundamentals, you can learn those things very easily. Plus, 90% of everything you will create will end up being around these must-to-know concepts that I'll be teaching you in this course, which is table view, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yes, when you're new, you may get tempted to learn all these other advanced topics, but please resist the temptation. Focus on the must-to-knows. And later, once you master the must-to-knows, I will introduce some of the nice-to-know concepts that may come during interviews and these things. But really, I want you to master the fundamentals first. That's what the primary goal of this course is, and blah, blah, blah. How would you feel? That compare with, here is, Swift, and here is a concept, here's a concept, here's a concept, now do this. I mean, no one would like that course. Maybe no one's a strong word. Maybe one person out of billions of people will like just a dry course like that, but most people don't like that dry. We're not beings of just logics. We have emotions, we have concerns, we have worries, right? So imagine, like on day 10 of the course, dry guide would say, do this assignment. And it's a really difficult assignment. Do this assignment. Okay? Compare that with an amazing guide. In an amazing guide, we said, okay, look, congratulations for coming this far. Go ahead and do a short reflection and think about what you're able to do up to this point. You should give yourself a pat on the back for doing a good job. Now, embrace yourself because the next assignment is going to be super hard. It's hard. I know it is hard, but I've intentionally made it hard. And it is okay to struggle. But on this one, watch out for these mistakes, and then also pace yourself. Take a walk if you need to, right? Get help from, your colleagues and other cohort members, and you can do this. Most of the students don't believe they can actually even do this assignment, but after putting in a lot of time, they do, and they're happy that they can do it. And I know that you too can do it. With that narration, if the student then goes and does the hard assignment, how do you think the two students would feel based on those two? Very, very different experience. Did the assignment change? No. But you added that human component, that emotional needs. That goes a long, long, long way because no one wants to struggle intentionally. No one wants to be left behind. So when you set that expectation that, hey, look, this is a hard assignment, you're going to struggle through. You may find that 95% of the concepts were taught, but there are 5% of the concepts you need to do for this assignment that were intentionally not taught. Because that's just how the real world is like. You will have to do a little bit of research. But I've, capped it to about 95% of the things are already taught. So that only 5% of the concepts you have to do research on your own. Anyway, but if you said that up front and they have that expectations, students are not going to be so angry when they have to do their own research. They're going to be like, oh, this was intentional. They know your intent. They know what's happening, why you created the course a certain way. If you do not communicate that, how would they know? Students, again, aren't gods. How would they know what your intentions were? Why you intentionally left out certain concepts for that assignment? Maybe they just thought you did it because you actually forgot to teach them some important concepts, right? Communicate that. Address the emotional needs. Anticipate what questions they're gonna, ask up front and address it. Now, if you're a new instructor, you may not know some of these things, which is why you should create a curriculum and teach that live to students or have students, real students live, take that and give you feedback. And where you see their eyes and see how happy are they? Are they learning? Are they frustrated? Are they angry? You got to get that data point. Once you have taught so many for years, then you can kind of look at the assignment landscape and feel what the students are feeling. You can reset yourself, go back, go through the course, and you can graph how the student would feel. Oh, so my student happiness is going to go down like a rock here. What can I do where I can still generate the same amount of learning, but where their emotional level just doesn't dip like a log? Oh, maybe I should add a little bit of video where I can tell them, this is a hard assignment. Hey, you can do this. I know it is hard. You can do it. Or maybe the inspiration is, you know what? Maybe that jump is too high. Maybe I need to have these small assignments or break this assignment into these chunks and give them a little bit of hint and a little bit of guidance. Or maybe some encouragements. Maybe it's all you need to add are encouragements. So anyway, later when you get really good, you will know how the students would feel even before you teach it live. Even then, you still have to teach it to real students and get real feedback just to validate whether your prediction was actually correct. But if you never taught for years and years, you probably don't have the realistic ideas on what emotional needs they would have, what questions they would have up front. So teach new students. Organize a few group of students and teach live and find out how they're feeling. Find out if the concepts are really being understood. And, you will have much more success. So some tips I laid out, also the video Don't explain just the hows. Explain the whys. Okay. I address some of the other stuff, but that's why I think I really like having videos, because reading text, they can't see your tone. They can't. I mean, they can't hear your tone. They don't know what your intents are. At least by having facial expression, right, where I'm looking at the camera, they're gonna feel more connected, way more than just reading text. So if I show empathy through videos and emphasize certain points through a video, because it's hard to emphasize in text, people will connect and they will appreciate your course. They will appreciate your thoughtfulness, and they will appreciate the guidance that you're giving them. Remember that we're human beings. We have a brain where we store knowledge and logics, but we also have a heart. We feel things. A good course addresses both the head, the knowledge that goes in, as well as the heart. If the course only addresses the head, you're neglecting the heart of the students. That's a bad course. It's a dry course. Okay, don't do that. Don't only focus on the heart either. You gotta feed their brain too, right? You gotta address both the head and the heart, brain and the heart. Okay, remember that.